The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Cheers. Well, welcome everyone to this glorious Friday. I want to extend a warm thank you to all of our existing Dynamics NAV clients who are joining us today for the Wiise webinar. My name is Charlie Wilson. I'm one of the account managers in the KPMG and Microsoft team. This webinar really gives us the opportunity to tell you more about the release of this really exciting new product and moving your business from on-premise to NAV to the cloud. Presenting with me today are several of the Wiise team, along with my KPMG colleague, Keith Asher. If we go through the agenda today, we'll take a look at Wiise, we'll explain the partnership involved, we'll discuss what we're hearing from our on-premise Dynamics NAV clients, what it's like moving to Wiise, we'll see the Wiise solution itself, highlight some of the key features and benefits, and cover the Wiise additions and pricing. Now, for a taste of really what Wiise is, here's a short video to whet your appetite.
Every business has more layers of complexity than meets the eye. There's people to pay, invoices to chase, stock to manage, hundreds of daily decisions to make, all while staying on top of multiple systems that aren't communicating. A smarter way to do business is here. It's time to get Wiise. One system to unite your entire business. Integrate your banking to see the complete picture in one place, from finance to forecasting to payroll and more. Access big business expertise and advanced analytics so you can uncover a new depth of knowledge. Connect the dots like never before. And with inbuilt features that scale with your business, Wiise is software you'll never outgrow. One platform backed by 3 experienced businesses. Because when it comes to success, sometimes all it takes is an extra pair of eyes.
That's right, an extra pair of eyes. I'm going to hand over to Steve Woolley, the sales manager from Wiise, to explain really what it is. Thanks, Steve.
Good, thank you, Charlie. That's a great video, isn't it? Quite often get asked, what is Wiise? Well, we can sum it up very quickly and say it's the latest in technology for any business that needs clarity over its software. As I said in the video there, it's been created. It's a unique partnership that's been formed between 3 organisations. We'll discuss more about that in a moment, but this unique partnership has formed an incredibly strong product. It's a system based on cloud technology on Microsoft Azure, so it's very latest in solutions. As your business grows, so does the complexity, and Wiise is here to provide business with an absolute clarity so they can see basically the complete picture of their business and make decisions with certainty. It's a combination of many systems to try and achieve this. It's an obvious choice for a business that currently has solutions like yours, an on-premise version of Dynamics NAV as an example. Just basically take it to the next step. Just like to talk to you about the partnership, and as I said before, it's actually very unique. It's clever business software created by KPMG to suit the local Australian market. It's built on a Microsoft platform, as I said, the very latest of Microsoft platform, and it's supported by banking functionality from the Commonwealth Bank. It's a unique partnership because nowhere in the world has 3 large organisations such as these got together to form a solution that they're offering to the market. It's taken a lot of effort to actually get it to this point. So, I mean, what does that mean for you as a customer? Well, it means it gives you certainty about the solution for the business for both now and the future. It's a guarantee that it's going to be on the latest technology. It's got that surety and compliance to Australian and indeed its local legislation. Confidence about what the security, because if you're on cloud, you're on Microsoft Azure, you get the highest level of security. So relating that to you as a Dynamics NAV user with an on-premise solution, what does that mean? It means your servers and infrastructures change because it's all cloud driven. But we're lucky today to have two of the highly experienced account managers at KPMG who've been out in the market and they've been talking to their users of Dynamics NAV, and they want to share that experience with us today. So we have Charlie and Keith with us, and what I might do is I might just pass over to Keith, who can share some of his experiences with us. Thank you, Keith.
Thanks very much, Steve. Appreciate it. Very good introduction there. To start, you've mentioned our names there, so the audience know both Charlie and myself as the account managers from KPMG. And as Steve rightly says, we've taken some feedback from previous meetings that we've most probably had over the last 6 to 9 months, and together between Charlie and myself, we've created 2 scenarios which really are typical of those concerns that you've voiced to us. The first one that we're going to go through is Toby's scenario, and you can see here that some of the issues he's got around network security, backup and server protection, disaster recovery, server infrastructure, all the normal kinds of concerns that an on-premise customer would have. But let me put some real life context around those concerns that we picked up from some of our customers. And these are customers that I know of who've gone through some of these concerns, but obviously I'm not going to name any names. So customer number 1, and this is revolving around network security, backup and server protection. So customer number 1 got hit by a ransomware attack. They don't know where it came from, how it came from, but they were very diligent with their backups. So they knew that their backups would work and they knew that they would restore. However, downside was they had to rebuild their server. And although they came back up online within a matter of a few days, they still caused problems with their production runs. So direct impact on their bottom line. Customer number 2, the user was an administration group. Their laptop got infected by a virus, again, unknown as to how that happened, but it can happen to anybody. But it took 8 days to put the environment back to its normal state. What did that mean to them? Lost orders, lost deliveries, more importantly, affected customer satisfaction. So it's had a longer term effect on that particular customer. Customer number 3, however, had an infrastructure issue. They've got a server that for some reason won't back up to tape, and going through all the relevant problem solving that we could put on board and speaking with Microsoft, they turned around and said, you've got to go for a rebuild and potentially a new server. But the cost of the hardware is very, very insignificant in the whole scenario here. The point really was around the time it was taken to rebuild the server and the time it took to test and then the time it took to go live all had a drastic impact on their ability to carry on performing their normal day-to-day business. The last one I wanted to talk about there is disaster recovery. And whilst I didn't mention any names earlier, this one's my story. And just to put it in context, disasters are not all terror related. The company I work for had a head office in Richmond and on the second floor of a small office block. We had a computer room, and which is where our servers were based. Well, it wasn't a room really in true context. It was just slightly bigger than a broom cupboard. But the customer above us had a water leak, and we started seeing it streaming down the walls into our computer room. Now, we're a software development company, and some of the projects we're working on were for both federal and state government. So obviously, we couldn't carry on working there, but we were under time constraints and penalty constraints to get the projects delivered. So quite luckily, we backed up our infrastructure every day to the other office in Brisbane. We had to move out the office for 2 days whilst they fixed the leak and dried everything out, and we could make sure that there was nothing damaged to the hardware. But a good thing about it was it allowed us to work remotely. Now, I'm sure at some stage you've come across these kinds of scenarios. I'm sure this actually sounds very, very familiar to you. And we'll explore a little bit later on through the presentation how by moving to Wiise we can alleviate some of these issues. I said we had 2 scenarios. My scenario was Toby. Charlie, unfortunately, has picked the short straw and is Jenny today. So over to you, Charlie.
Hey, thanks, Keith. And yes, as Keith mentioned, I'm going to look at Jenny's scenario. Jenny, like some of you, certainly is on an older, outdated version of on-premise Dynamics NAV. So specifically, in Jenny's case, they're using NAV 2009. Now, unlike some of Keith's scenarios, Jenny is really not as fussed about the hardware concerns. Jenny says she has people to look after the servers herself, right? So with each new version being released, she can see features and functionality that would definitely benefit her company. Each release leads to a discussion around these benefits and then invariably the cost to upgrade or re-implement. Now, we're not just talking about the financial costs, of course, which are important, but equally the cost of the time and the impact on the business moving to the latest version. During a recent on-site visit with Jenny, we talked about the lack of mobility of her staff. She has this red-hot sales team, right, who are constantly on the road, drumming up business at an absolute rate of knots. But the problem with their current NAV 2009 system is that when they close the deal on site with their customers, they either have to wait until they're in front of their PC again later that day, or email back to their home office and get someone else to place the order for them. I mean, it could even come down to minor things such as having to wait to update contact details, right? This is not efficient and can certainly be prone to errors. It's great to see a number of clients with these strong sales team, like Jenny's, who are experiencing solid growth. This growth certainly can lead to expansion, and this is, expansion into new cities, into new regions, but this means new branches. More branches means more investment in upgrading the network for connecting these branches up, right? Scaling the system and adding licenses, which, as you know, and I know I've had this conversation with a lot on the phone, can certainly be very expensive. The question then really is, what are some of the ways that Wiise can help both Toby and Jenny alleviate their concerns and gain access to the latest features and functionality to get the outcomes they desire? Keith, do you want to fill us in on that, please?
Yeah, thanks very much, Charlie. I think that was very succinct and covered off between the 2 scenarios what we've actually come across. So what is the Wiise experience? Well, as you can see there, it means you're always going to be on the latest version of the product because it is in a managed environment. Going forward, there's no annual maintenance fee, which most customers experience year on year. It is a fully managed back-end service with data backup included, disaster recovery included. More importantly is the high level of network and data security through Microsoft Azure. Microsoft have invested millions and millions of dollars into their security. This is something that any end user couldn't possibly come anywhere near in terms of the level of investment. So having said that, Microsoft have now got 5 data centers here in Australia, 2 of which are commercial, and the other 3 are really aimed at the governmental environment. As Charlie also turned around and said, Jen's experience with her own salespeople is having a mobile sales force. So with the Wiise experience, you get to use the system anywhere, anytime, any place. Fantastic. Provided you've got internet connectivity, you can use laptop, Android, phone, whatever you need, whatever method you need to contact back into the office. And the last point I'd like to raise there is it allows your IT staff, if you have your own IT staff, to pull back from some of the core maintenance facilities that they have to do because it is a managed service. So it allows your IT staff to be freed up to concentrate more on business-related technology issues, which I think everybody would agree that that's most really the best way to move forward. So our next step is we're going to go through a demonstration. What we're about to see from Chris is a high-level view of Wiise. Anyone who's used NAV as long as I have will be amazed at the user experience that you're going to see today. And it's some of the cool features now built into that platform by the Wiise, Microsoft and Commonwealth Bank alliance. So Chris, over to you. Do your stuff, please.
Thank you very much, Keith, and hello to everybody out there. Now, today what we're going to be doing is having a look and feel of not only just the user interface that's been brought through with the Wiise product, but I'm really excited to bring to you a lot of the key features that we think are going to assist you in your day-to-day. So we've been in great discussions with Keith and Charlie here, go way back, and we've heard a lot of the concerns and actually a lot of states that you who are on this webinar today are currently experiencing with your accounting solution. The whole idea today is to basically show you three key features. The actual user interface itself, which aims to provide efficiencies. We'll show you how through our strategic partnership that Steve Woolley went through, we've been able to enable you to have tools at your disposal that can assist you with key problems that most people out there have to deal on a day-to-day business activities, such as retrieving cash from their customers, being able to use a solution wherever you may be, and as well as that, make your banking part of your solution, have it inbuilt within Wiise. And then we're going to take it that next step further, just to give you the key look at what can really come through using Wiise, and that is the seamless experience, showing you how it works through the Office 365. So it is a truly mobile solution, but it's also an intelligent and sensible solution. If I'm in an email, my software's there. If I'm out on the road, my software's there. We're going to try and give you a quick look at this, but don't worry, we're not going to do this by PowerPoint. Today is within the live product itself. So with that, I'm going to hop into my database. As you can see here, it doesn't let me have it run out. Perfect. This will now load up my trial account of Wiise, and we'll hop right in. And it looks like the demo gods are favoring us today. Here we go. So what you're seeing right now is the role center. This is Wise's landing dashboard. The whole point of this is that it's aiming to give you efficiencies through your day-to-day, as well as a clear visibility on what you need to be doing and seeing. So you get that insightful sort of information right away. I'm going to avoid using the word dynamic information. I'm just going to stick with insightful because that's what my marketers have told me to do. Now, the whole idea here is that the moment you log into the system, you can clearly see a user's workload and priorities. Through the new clean interface right away through here, you're able to get information from Wiise itself. The whole idea with hopping into the system is that it's plug and play. I click, it straight away takes me to the help server in the background that's designed by Wiise using the Microsoft features and built on top of that. As well as that, it's trying to make it that your everyday actions are readily available. So right here, we're in the Business Manager's Role Center, which at the top is trying to give you clear access to be able to do your daily processes with one click. So I can just one click create quotes, one click create new customers and vendors, process payments. The whole idea is that I'm easily able to do the daily processing that I need to do. And it's all working that fast and live. But as well as that, we're trying to not only just address the manual processes that users would have, but we're also trying to give them clear, insightful information readily available. So right away through the activities, they're able to see data live from across the database. Someone out on the road, one of those very nifty salespeople that Charlie was talking about, they process a sale on their phone. Right away, we would be able to see that translate to the sum of sales this month. The whole idea here is that it's live information. And for instance, being able to see what we have to collect on and what we have to do. I do apologize, this is a demo database. My company owes a lot of money. But right here, these overdue sales documents. Say I wanted to collect on this. Now, we have a tool through our strategic partnership with the Commonwealth Bank called Simplify. This enables us to have click-to-pay functionality so that when we send out emails, when we send out attachments on emails to our customers, they're able to pay via credit card right there and then. Key things to note about this, you do not have to be a Commonwealth Bank customer. But it's one thing to describe something, it's another thing to see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hop into the customer perspective. Right now I'm in an email received from this guy, Christopher McKenzie. So he sent that I've got a bill of $828. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to one click and pay this right here and now. Now the whole idea is that this is going to assist you with accounts and sales retrievals. And it will remember their current balance. So if they paid, let's say, $600 beforehand, it'll say that there's still $228 remaining. All they have to do is select proceed to pay. It'll load up. And the key thing here is the security. It's going to be secured by MasterCard. They can enter in their credit card details. It can be MasterCard, Visa, Amex, those two other fellas. Enter in their details and select pay. And the process is taken right there and then. That'll then, for one, process that payment. And within the actual simplified dashboard, you'll be able to see instant recognition of who's paying you when. The key thing here is that not only is this streamlining and making it easier for your customers to pay you, but it's also taking away the manual processes. So back within Wiise, within your cash receipt journal, it'll even then populate that they've made that payment with that specific amount against that account. This is just one of the key ways that we're trying to make it easier for users to, for one, run their business, but also see and get insight on that. Now, this is one key feature, but even lower down, we're able to see more of the information that comes through the system. You have activity tiles here, where you can see the live data and the live actual workload. They used to call these tiles, I like to think of them as the piles of paper you no longer have to deal with on your desk. So instead of seeing quotes on your desk, they're now right here on your dashboard, like so. Seeing that I don't have any processed payments, oh, I've got one, I can one-click hop to that location. The whole idea here is that you have clear visibility, and if I need to do my day-to-day processing, one click right there. If I need to get a bit more insight, I just scroll down and more insights are made available to me. Now, Wiise is really trying to make the product itself plug and play, as I said before. The whole idea here is that you don't have to even navigate around to find setup pages. We try and make everything readily available to you. And once you're done with it, you could just personalize your view and remove this. So it's a key thing to note that what you're seeing here as the role center, the landing dashboard, is now moldable so that what you're seeing is effective and efficient, but not only that, it's relevant. And any information that we think that can benefit you, that we publish on our website, we can then push through to give you access and information about some of the new features that come through. Because as Keith said, it's always going to be up to date. There's always going to be new features and functions brought forward to you. And instead of cluttering up your email, we'll tell you through the product itself. And down here, you get even more insights. You get live graph features, being able to show you quick information, such as you can see here, our top 5 customers. And as well as that, our banking integration. You're able to have bank feeds set up simply by selecting that you've got a Commonwealth Bank or another bank account. And it's a key thing to note that you can have bank feeds to any banking institution or bank within Australia. And the whole idea here is that setting up cool little features like what we saw, that little click to pay, all you have to do is one click, and then it'll take you through the motions of entering your details and setting you up with this. Underneath, we have even more functionality that we could show you. The key things that I just want to stress is that this is all out of the box. This is a user interface that you can get to know and love. And the key thing here is that this is just the beginning. With that, it's also important to show you, I guess, how we work in a seamless experience. Now, Steve, later on, he'll be showing you how, for one, it can be accessed through the Microsoft app on a phone or tablet device. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to even hop to another there we go. So I'm going to hop into my email. So before we saw an email sent to one of our customers, and you still have that live information, being able to see customers. What I'm going to do now is set a scenario for you. So I have a payment that I'm due to make, and I've received that email from my supplier or my utilities provider. The whole idea here is that I don't no longer have to hop into my system. It'll read the contact that I have here. It'll notice whether it is a vendor or a customer in your system. And because we're synchronizing your contacts between Wiise and your mail, it'll for one straight away bring up their details. The whole idea here is that I can see the accounts payable that I have with them, every single order, invoice, processed. And for one, I can still drill down, but I can even create within here. So I could create the relevant purchase invoice, and then I could send it the exact same way as we sent that invoice to our customer. The key thing here is that it would actually be a reply to what they've seen. Now, if they included the actual document number here, we can even have it so that it brings up and creates the relevant document itself. Whole idea here is that this can then work within your approvals flow. It is as if you're using Wiise within your Outlook. Now, I don't want to spend too much time showing you features here and there. The main thing about today is just getting an understanding of what is available to you. And lastly, this is just the one role center that you're seeing here. Wiise has fine-tuned the Microsoft role centers to better work for the different tasks that you would be doing on a day-to-day basis. Currently in the Business Manager, we have our daily processes at the top and our insights underneath. Whether you use the operational modules, they're even finely tuned role centers for each one of those, then I'm sure the team's more than happy to show you down the track. But I don't want to take up all the time. I think that is my time on the stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hand over to Steve Woolley now to take us through the features and benefits, I guess, of what you've seen today. Steve?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Chris. That was great. That user experience is something else, isn't it? Look, I know that many of you are still on the old, either the classic NAV interface or the role-tailored interface. And so that really gives you a quick snapshot of what the next generation of software looks like. You know, Wiise now gives you access to all of the functionality you need, plus the capability of managing your tasks more efficiently. All that information is there in front of you, so it just gives you better efficiency. It means you're saving time, really. If you're having integrated banking software, it means your accounts people will just love you. The automatic bank feeds will save you time, save them frustration. Not having to update the bank rec, having cash flows up to date immediately, just gives you better information. And speaking of the cash flow, the electronic payments option is certainly something that's going to help you improve your receivables. So being able to click and pay on an invoice, there's no excuses there for nobody being able to pay you. So Wiise was developed originally with, I suppose, some big business ideas. The inputs there, obviously, from like the likes of KPMG and CBA, etc. And those benefits are actually flowing through here, and you can actually see some of those in what Chris has shown us today. We didn't really cover or drill down into some of those reporting and dashboards on there, but some of those are directly from a tool called Power BI, and if you haven't seen that, it's part of the Office 365 functionality, which, by the way, Wiise integrates seamlessly to. So you get all the access to your Office programs, etc., including access to things like Power BI for better reporting and dashboards for meetings, your management readings, and etc. So that really ties everything up for you. Wiise will scale as you grow. So even though you might be at a point in time at the moment, it'll just go and grow with you. And that's by virtue of design and virtue by the fact that it's running on Microsoft Azure as well. So that can scale up as well. So no more replacing of your servers. It's just scalable in the Azure environment. the desktop that we saw on that Chris showed us is really the front screen or our desktop environment. But behind the scenes there's a nice, clean, familiar interface. It's uncluttered. Many of the oldest versions of the Dynamics NAV platform had so much information on the screen, it was really hard to focus on what your role was. The screens have basically been cleaned and be able to enable your users to actually focus on what they're doing. So that Microsoft familiarity will carry through. So your users will require very little training to actually get them to understand their roles in this new environment. It'll help them work better and help them enable to make better decisions and more timely because information is there and up to date. That integrated banking functionality that we have, obviously there was a lot of work being put into that, and certainly a lot of input from CBA. As Chris said, you don't have to be a CBA customer to get this benefit, but how long has it been that integrated banking functionality hasn't been part of the main business system? I mean, it's so obvious, isn't it, that it should be integrated. It's taken the 3 organisations to get there to actually get it all tied into one. So we've been able to achieve that, and certainly those benefits flow through. As I said before about the bank feeds, the automatic updates, it's just time saving for you. For those who are CBA customers, there are additional features in there, things like being able to get access to better information and management and access to loans and things like that. But that's all upcoming as well. So certainly a growing part of the system. And finally, the experience that we get from having all of those systems combined is certainly providing you with information to make your business decisions better, more timely, and more accurately. We haven't talked today, there's things like Cortana intelligence and things like that, all buzzwords in the industry, but all reality in this system to be able to use your data to get better information. And finally, the mobility solution that Chris mentioned before. No longer is your staff office bound. They're not tied to their desk to be able to actually do their job. Your salespeople can be out on the road. I mean, I know of many organisations still have their salespeople ringing in to actually check stock availability, customer balances, etc. This is all browser accessible. So what does that mean? You can access it if you've got it through the internet. So while your salespeople are in front of their customers, they can actually be showing them pictures of the inventory, checking stock availability, placing orders if you want. And they can do that on a tablet, they can do it on an Android or an iPad, or even on their phone. So the user experience and user interface is there, and it adjusts according to the device that it's being viewed on. So that sort of interface and availability is certainly something that many businesses have been dreaming of for a long time. So how long have we been waiting for this? But look, really that's enough for me today. What I might do is I might pass over to Keith, who can wrap up what we've seen today. Over to you, Keith.
Thanks, Steve. Truly a different experience. It's, as Steve said, we've been waiting so many years for this kind of functionality to come through from the mainstream business. But just to recap, we had 2 scenarios here. We had Toby and Jenny. Toby's issues are all around on-premise. Jenny's around upgrades versus re-implementation. I could go through each of the points the same way as we see on various ads on TV and say network security, that's a tick. Data backup, that's a tick. I think it comes down to the basics that Microsoft Azure as a managed service platform, Wiise as a subscription-based ERP system going forward, fully integrated, fully supported, is obviously the way to go. I know that we've only covered off a few of the issues here in both Toby and Jenny's scenarios, and apologies that it goes without saying, that everybody has got more than just these concerns. So we're quite happy to take the calls on this as we go forward. So, are you ready to get wise? What's the call to action here? Sign up today for a trial at wiise.com. You'll get access to a 30-day trial. You'll see exactly what we've seen today. It is a demo database, so please don't feel frustrated that you can't put your own information in there. It is there for you to get familiar with the look and the feel of the product. Get used to it. Show everybody else in your organization how easy it is to link from one particular screen to another. Show them the features. Compare it against what you're actually using at the moment, especially if you're using the classic screen and not role-tailored. There's a wealth of difference there. And if after you sign up, you've still got more questions or you want to meet up, give Charlie and myself a call and we'll meet up and we'll take you through a cost of ownership model that we've put together. It's an example. We will use your figures and hopefully we'll be able to show you how we can help you reduce your cost of ownership going forward. So finally, a big thank you for you, our attendees today. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Big thanks to Steve and Chris, and obviously it goes without saying, both Toby and Jenny. So I hope you enjoyed today. Please feel free to give us a call. Let's move together, move forward. As one of the sayings I reckon will come out in the future, be clever, be wise. Thanks very much, everyone.